The story of Adam and Eve is one of the most well-known narratives of humanity. Told for millennia, it is seen as the origin of man's fall and the separation between the divine and the earthly. But, what if this story is incomplete? There is a lost book, a text that was excluded from the Bible and that reveals events that were never told to the public. In it, we find a dark and disturbing account of the fate of Adam and Eve after the expulsion from the Garden of Eden, a secret so impactful that it could completely change the way we see this story. Why was this book erased from the official records? What truths does it contain? Today, we are going to explore the lost book of Adam and Eve and reveal the mysteries that have remained hidden for centuries. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to discover may challenge everything you have believed so far. Chapter 1, The Lost Book, What the Church Didn't Want You to Know. Throughout the centuries, countless texts have been removed from the Bible. Called apocryphal, these books contained accounts that, for different reasons, were considered inconvenient, dangerous, or incompatible with the official doctrine. The Lost Book of Adam and Eve, also known as The Conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan, is one of these mysterious texts. It describes, in detail, the suffering, trials, and revelations that Adam and Eve experienced after being expelled from Eden. But why was this book removed from the Bible? It reveals a direct conflict between Adam, Eve, and Satan, a confrontation that is not mentioned in Genesis, suggesting that evil was not merely an influence, but an active entity that pursued the first couple of humanity. Adam and Eve did not merely leave Eden, they were thrown into a dark and cruel world, where they faced hunger, pain, and overwhelming despair. The angels would have instructed Adam in forbidden spiritual secrets that could transform the relationship between humans and God. Could this be the true reason for its exclusion? Could the church have feared that this hidden knowledge might change our view of humanity's destiny? In the next chapter, we will dive into the dark details of this book and reveal the secrets it contains about the first clash between good and evil on earth. Prepare yourself, for the revelations to come may change everything. Chapter 2, The Expulsion from Eden, What Really Happened? Everyone knows the traditional version of the story. Adam and Eve disobeyed God by eating the forbidden fruit and were expelled from the Garden of Eden. But what few know is that, according to the lost book of Adam and Eve, the exit from paradise was much more dramatic and disturbing than we imagined. As soon as Adam and Eve crossed the gates of Eden, they felt something they had never experienced before: darkness and fear. For the first time, the sun disappeared, and they were overcome with despair when they realized that the light and warmth of the garden no longer existed for them. The night as punishment, the book describes that Adam and Eve had never seen darkness before. The sunset terrified them, for they believed that the world was being destroyed as punishment for their sin. They wept bitterly, believing that they had been abandoned forever. Despair and hunger, for the first time, they felt hunger and thirst. In Eden, food was abundant, but now, in the arid and hostile land, there was nothing they could eat. The feeling of weakness made them realize that something much graver had happened. Death now was part of human existence. The first contact with Satan, according to the book, Satan did not disappear after the episode with the serpent. He continued to pursue Adam and Eve, trying to deceive them with illusions and offering empty promises for them to follow him. Faced with this scenario of pain and suffering, Adam and Eve began to seek answers. They cried out to God, asking why they had been condemned to such a cruel world. The answer would come in the form of visions and celestial messages, revealing truths that remain hidden to this day. What did God reveal to Adam about the future of humanity? What mysteries were taught to the first man? In the next chapter, we will discover the secret teachings that Adam received and that were forbidden for generations. The hidden knowledge is about to be revealed. Chapter 3, The Secret Knowledge Given to Adam. After being expelled from Eden, Adam and Eve found themselves in a state of absolute despair. They had lost the direct connection with God and were now trapped in an unknown world, full of pain and suffering. But then, something unexpected happened. According to the lost book of Adam and Eve, God did not abandon them completely. He sent celestial messengers to grant them a knowledge that would be fundamental for the survival of humanity, a knowledge that, according to some interpretations, was forbidden throughout history. The celestial revelations, the fate of humanity. According to the text, Adam had powerful visions of the future. In them, he saw the arrival of a Redeemer, who would come to rescue humanity from sin and death. The battle between light and darkness, a spiritual struggle that would continue for generations. The true nature of Satan, who was not just a tempter, but a being determined to destroy the divine plan. The mystery of sacrifices. Another intriguing element in the book is the instruction that Adam received about sacrifice. He was taught to offer sacrifices as a symbol of future redemption, a concept that would later be incorporated into subsequent religious traditions, though with modified interpretations. The angels would have explained to Adam that, one day, the final sacrifice would be made by a divine messenger, who would suffer in place of humanity. This connects directly with the Christian belief regarding Jesus Christ, but did this prophecy already exist since the earliest times? The secret about mortality. One of the most impactful revelations is that Adam and Eve were not originally destined to die. According to the book, before the fall, the divine plan was for humanity to live in an immortal state, without knowing pain or suffering. The fall not only brought physical death but also broke the spiritual connection between humans and God, something that could only be restored through a long process of redemption and learning. But this knowledge did not stop there. There are passages that indicate that Adam was taught about cosmic cycles, spiritual secrets, and even visions of events that would occur in the distant future. If this is true, what else could be hidden in this book? In the next chapter, we will explore the direct interactions between Adam, Eve, and Satan, revealing a confrontation that few people know about. The hidden truths continue to emerge, and what comes next may be even more shocking. Chapter 4: The Direct Conflict with Satan. After being expelled from Eden, Adam and Eve not only faced physical and emotional suffering, they were also directly pursued by Satan. But, according to the lost book of Adam and Eve, this confrontation was much more intense and disturbing than one might imagine. Satan did not give up on humanity. Unlike what the traditional version suggests, the story did not end in the Garden of Eden. The book describes that Satan continued to act to destroy Adam and Eve, using various methods to confuse them and divert them from their connection with God. He not only tried to deceive them with lies but also carried out physical and spiritual attacks, even forcing them into extreme situations of suffering. The traps of Satan. The text describes several moments in which Satan appeared to Adam and Eve in different forms, trying to manipulate them. Appearance as an angel of light, he disguised himself as a divine messenger to try to convince them that God had abandoned them and that they should now follow him. Illusions and empty promises, he created mirages of the Garden of Eden to deceive them, making them believe that they could return there if they accepted to worship him. Physical attacks. There are accounts that Satan attempted to murder Adam and Eve, throwing stones at them and even trying to drown them. However, God intervened on several occasions to protect them. Satan's frustration. After repeated attempts to destroy the faith of Adam and Eve, the book reveals that Satan became enraged and confessed the true reason for his obsession with humanity. "I was cast out of the glory of heaven because of you. When God created you, he commanded the angels to bow down before you. But I refused, for I am greater and older than you. Therefore, I was cast down to the earth. And now, I will do everything to destroy you and your descendants." This passage suggests that Satan's hatred for humanity is personal, as he sees human beings as responsible for his fall. Could this be the true reason why he wants to drive humanity away from God? The first cycle of the spiritual war. From that moment on, the book suggests that the battle between light and darkness became an endless war that would extend through all generations of humanity. The descendants of Adam and Eve would inherit not only the knowledge but also the responsibility to resist Satan's traps and seek the way back to the Creator. But how did this war evolve throughout history? Is it possible that this battle is still happening today, in ways we cannot even imagine? In the next chapter, we will explore the legacy of Adam and Eve and how this forbidden knowledge may be influencing our reality even today. The final revelation is approaching, and it may change everything you believe. Chapter 5: The Lost Legacy of Adam and Eve. After facing Satan's traps and receiving celestial revelations, Adam and Eve understood that their journey was only beginning. Although they had lost Eden, they still had a mission: to preserve the divine knowledge and pass it on to future generations. But, according to the lost book of Adam and Eve, this legacy was not only one of faith and resistance, it involved hidden secrets about human nature, the future of humanity, and the battle between invisible forces. The sons of Adam and Eve and the fate of humanity. The book describes that, even while living under extremely difficult conditions, Adam and Eve had children and started the first clans of humanity. However, something strange happened. Was there a pure spiritual lineage and another corrupted one? The text suggests that the descendants of Seth, one of Adam's sons, remained faithful to the Creator, while the descendants of Cain drifted away and were influenced by dark forces. Did the fallen angels interfere in humanity? There are passages that indicate that mysterious forces tried to manipulate Adam's descendants, leading them to sin and moral degradation. This echoes accounts found in other apocryphal texts, such as the Book of Enoch, which mentions fallen angels teaching witchcraft and corruption to humans. Did Adam's descendants receive visions of the future? According to the narrative, God revealed to Adam and his descendants events that would still occur, such as the coming of a Messiah, the destruction caused by the flood, and even the end of times. Was the secret knowledge hidden? One of the most intriguing parts of the book suggests that this knowledge was intentionally kept hidden. Why? To prevent it from being distorted, the fear was that evil forces could corrupt the original teaching and use it against humanity. To be revealed only to those who were prepared, the text suggests that only those who sought the truth with a pure heart could understand these mysteries. Because the true secret was within humanity itself, in one passage of the book, God tells Adam that the power to return to the light is not in rituals or sacred objects, but in the human consciousness itself. This means that the true secret of creation may be within us all along, but only those who awaken to this truth can understand it. But if this knowledge was so powerful, how was it erased from history? In the next chapter, we will explore how this book was hidden and what that means for our time. We are about to uncover the last and most important mystery. Chapter 6: Why was this book hidden? If the lost book of Adam and Eve contains such important information about the fate of humanity, why was it excluded from the Bible? Who decided that this knowledge should be erased from history? The truth is that, over the centuries, many texts have been removed, forbidden, or simply forgotten. But the case of this book is especially intriguing, for it contradicts and expands the official narrative of Genesis, revealing elements that may challenge traditional beliefs about the origin of humanity. Religious conflicts and the formation of the biblical canon. The Bible as we know it today was not always the same. During the early centuries of Christianity, there were many texts considered sacred, but that were removed over time. The Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, one of the milestones in organizing the biblical texts. At that time, some books were accepted as official, while others were set aside. The fear of alternative interpretations, some versions of the story of Adam and Eve suggested a greater role for Satan, details about the lineage of Adam's children, and even visions of the end times. For many religious leaders, this could confuse or challenge traditional theology. The connection with apocryphal and mystical texts. The book has connections with other texts considered dangerous by the Church, such as the Book of Enoch and the Apocalypse of Moses, which speak of fallen angels, hidden knowledge, and secret prophecies. A knowledge that was not for everyone? There are those who believe that this book was not only forgotten, but deliberately hidden. After all, it contains information that could completely change the way we understand spirituality and human destiny. It suggests that Adam and Eve had a direct connection with God even after the fall, something that would question the need for religious intermediaries. It reveals that Satan continued to influence humanity from the very beginning, something that reinforces the idea of an active spiritual war throughout the ages. It mentions prophecies about the future of humanity, which connect with other forbidden texts and even with modern events. Whatever the true reason, the fact is that this book remained forgotten and ignored for centuries. But now, it re-emerges, bringing profound questions about what really happened to Adam and Eve and what that means for our time. But there is one last mystery to be revealed. In the next chapter, we will explore how this knowledge can impact the present and the future, and why it may be more relevant today than ever. The final truth is near, and it may be more shocking than we imagine. Chapter 7: What does this knowledge mean for our time? Now that we have explored the mysteries of the lost book of Adam and Eve, the big question remains: what does this mean for us today? Could this forgotten knowledge have a real impact on the way we live and understand the world? The answer may be deeper than we imagine. The battle between light and darkness has never ended. If the revelations in this book are true, then the spiritual struggle that began with Adam and Eve is still ongoing. The invisible war for control of humanity, the book suggests that Satan's influence over Adam's descendants has never ceased, and that he continues to try to corrupt and divert people from the truth. The importance of consciousness and free will. One of the most powerful messages of the text is that the destiny of humanity is in our own hands. God may guide, but the final choice will always be ours. The return to original knowledge. If Adam received a secret teaching about the true nature of the universe, perhaps that knowledge is within us all along, waiting to be awakened. Is the forbidden knowledge resurfacing? Today, we are living in an era of information and spiritual awakening. Many ancient truths that were erased over the centuries are resurfacing, whether through archaeological discoveries or through the growing interest in apocryphal and esoteric texts. This may indicate that we are approaching a crucial moment in human history, where people are seeking answers outside traditional systems and questioning what has been taught as absolute truth. But the most important question is, what will we do with this knowledge? If the lost book of Adam and Eve contains clues about the true nature of existence, then it is not just an ancient account, it is a call for us to awaken to something greater. Was humanity created to live imprisoned in ignorance or to seek its true purpose? What is hidden can still be discovered. Now that you know this forbidden story, what do you think about it all? Leave your comment below and share your ideas. Do you believe that this book was intentionally erased? Could there be more secrets about the past of humanity waiting to be revealed? If this story made you see things in a different way, share this video with others. Knowledge needs to be spread. And if you want to continue exploring mysteries like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We still have many hidden secrets to reveal. Until the next video.